Rain poured against the glass of the tall office tower, streaks of water reflecting the city lights below. Inside, the boardroom glowed with warm light. A dozen executives sat stiff around the long mahogany table. The mood was tense. Everyone was waiting for one man. The double doors opened. Footsteps echoed against the polished floor. The janitor entered, but he was no longer in overalls. He wore a tailored black suit, sharp and commanding. His gray eyes scanned the room like a king surveying his court. The manager at the head of the table, Victor Lang, went pale. He rose halfway, confused, almost frightened. What is this?" Victor stammered. The man they once called the janitor sat at the head of the table with quiet authority. He placed a folder on the wood, slid it forward, and said calmly, "Gentlemen, ladies, I own this building, and starting today, I own this company too." The board erupted in whispers. Victor's lips trembled. The man leaned back, a small smile cutting across his face. Then the story snapped backward, months earlier. Samuel Ortiz had worked as a janitor in that tower for years. People walked past him like he was invisible. The rich employees in suits never greeted him. The receptionists barely looked up when he pushed his cart through the lobby. The only ones who spoke kindly were the security guards and a few night shift workers. He was a quiet man in his late 50s, hair thinning, eyes tired but alert. He moved slowly, mopping, dusting, fixing small things no one else noticed. Some thought he was just another forgotten soul working a thankless job. But he listened, always listened. Victor Lang, the manager, hated him. A man in his 40s with slicked back hair, expensive suits, and a taste for mocking those beneath him. Victor liked to perform cruelty as if it were a show for his staff. One Monday morning, Samuel was mopping near the elevators when Victor strutted across the lobby, sipping his coffee. "Careful, everyone," Victor said loudly, pointing at Samuel. "Don't trip on the janitor's bucket. God forbid the floor shine brighter than his future." Laughter from a cluster of assistants followed. Samuel simply kept working, silent, not even looking up. That silence seemed to irritate Victor more. By lunchtime, the story spread. Employees whispered, Victor mocked the janitor again. It became a running joke. Each time Samuel appeared, someone snickered. He was the invisible target they could all laugh at without consequence. But inside, Samuel felt every word. He had endured humiliation many times in life. He knew patience. He knew time had a way of revealing truth. That evening, Samuel left through the service exit. He walked to a nearby diner, one that smelled of old coffee and fried eggs. In a back booth, two men in suits were waiting for him. They rose when he entered, shaking his hand firmly. "Mr. Ortiz," one of them said, "we reviewed the final documents. The transfer is complete. The building is now under your name." Samuel only nodded, as though this was a small detail, nothing remarkable. He had never told anyone at the tower that years ago he had invested wisely in real estate when the market was low. Apartment blocks, small offices, land. He had sold most of it recently, cashing in at the peak. Quietly, without noise, without show. He bought the very building he worked in through a holding company. But he hadn't revealed it yet, because revenge tasted better when it was slow. The next day, Samuel was back in his overalls, mopping the marble floors. Victor walked past again, this time with two junior managers. "Make sure you study hard, boys," Victor smirked, jerking a thumb at Samuel, "or you'll end up cleaning after men like me." The juniors laughed, uncomfortable but eager to please their boss. Samuel wrung out his mop and kept his eyes down. One of the security guards, Marcus, frowned. After Victor left, Marcus approached Samuel. "You okay, Sam? He's always riding you." Samuel gave a small smile. "A mop doesn't care about insults, it just keeps cleaning." Marcus chuckled softly but shook his head. "Still, man, one day he's gonna push too far." Samuel's smile lingered as he looked out the glass doors at the skyline. "One day," he echoed. Later that week, a small leak appeared in one of the executive bathrooms. Samuel fixed it quietly. While he worked, he heard Victor in a stall talking on his phone. "Listen, I don't care what it takes. Cut their budget. Fire half the team if you have to. We need numbers up before the next quarter." Victor flushed, walked out, and glanced at Samuel. "Don't eavesdrop, old man. Just scrub the toilets." Samuel bent his head in silence. But inside, a storm was brewing. A Friday afternoon, the office had gathered in the break room for cake, someone's birthday. Samuel passed by, pushing his cart. Victor seized the moment. "Hey everyone," Victor said loudly. "Don't let the janitor near the cake. He might sweep it up." The room filled with laughter, cameras out, someone filmed. Samuel stood there, holding the handle of his mop, the light flickering against his tired face. Victor raised his voice again. "Smile for us, janitor. Give us that cleaning man grin." Samuel gave a faint smile, just enough to satisfy them. Then he walked away. The video went online within hours. By nightfall, hundreds had seen it. Comments flooded with laughing emojis. Some employees even shared it outside the company. Samuel became a meme, the silent janitor. But Samuel was not broken. He sat in his small apartment, lights off, laptop open. He replayed the video. He listened to their laughter, frame by frame. His finger hovered over the pause button, freezing Victor's smug grin. A slow, cold smile spread across Samuel's face. That was the night Samuel decided the time had come. The next Monday began with a forced smile in the lobby. The front desk screen ran a loop of building ads and weather updates. People hurried in with wet coats and coffee cups. Victor arrived later than usual, sunglasses on, loud voice filling the marble hall. He smelled of cologne and old whiskey. Behind him trailed two junior managers, eager shadows. Samuel pushed his cart toward the service elevator. As he passed, Victor clapped twice, like calling a dog. "Hey, silent janitor," Victor said. "Got a minute? My office plants are dying. Maybe your mop water can bring them back to life." One of the juniors laughed too hard. The other looked down, torn. Samuel lifted his eyes for just a second. "Plants need light and care," he said softly, "even the cheap ones." Victor's smile thinned. "Cute. Try not to scratch the glass on your way out." Samuel nodded once and moved on. In the elevator, he stood alone with his cart, listening to the hum of the cables and the faint echo of the lobby laughter. He closed his eyes and pictured documents, signatures, a new letterhead. Horizon Tower Holdings. The ink had dried. The records were public if someone knew where to look. But no one would look for the owner inside a gray janitor suit. Not yet. That afternoon, he met a woman in a navy blazer near the mailroom. She was tall, calm, with a clipped way of speaking. Her name was Rhea Park, and she was the new property manager hired by the holding company. To the tenants, she would seem like a routine replacement. To Samuel, she was a trusted pair of eyes. She handed him a small folder. "New safety audit schedule," she said quietly. "You sure you want to start with floor 31? That's Lang's floor." Samuel's face stayed blank. "Start at the top, work down." She studied him. "You still want to stay like this?" Her eyes moved to the cart, the gloves, the faded name badge. "For a while," Samuel said. "People are most honest when they think you're no one." Rhea nodded. "Understood. Cameras were upgraded over the weekend. New access logs are live, and the maintenance vendor is switched. Your instructions are being followed." "Thank you," Samuel said. She paused, then added, "About the clip online, I saw it. I'm sorry." Samuel placed the folder on the cart. A mop doesn't care about insults. There was a flicker of a smile from Rhea. "Still, just tell me when you want to stop mopping." "I will," he said. "Not yet." On floor 31, the air was colder, the glass clearer. You could see the whole city from the corner conference room. The company's logo, Lang's company, even if he was only a manager, glowed on the wall. The team moved faster up here, as if speed itself was proof of importance. Samuel replaced a broken light in a hallway near Victor's office. From inside, he heard raised voices. "You can't cut the design team again," a woman said. "We're already under capacity. The product launch will fail." Victor's voice was smooth, bright with false patience. "Maya, listen to me. We have to make numbers. Numbers matter more than feelings. If you can't accept that, maybe this isn't the right place for you." Silence. Then the woman, "It's not feelings, it's math." "Then do better math," Victor said, and the door opened. Maya stepped out holding a folder. She stopped when she saw Samuel on the ladder. Her eyes were red but steady. She nodded at him, a faint thank you for pretending not to see her pain. Samuel nodded back. Victor leaned against the doorway. "You missed a chat with our resident philosopher," he said to Maya. "He gives great life advice, very grounded." Maya walked away without a word. Victor shifted his gaze to Samuel. "You missed a spot," he said, pointing at nothing. "Yes, sir," Samuel answered, and kept working until Victor closed the door. He finished the light, climbed down, and left a tiny note behind the lens, a maintenance code only the new vendor and Rhea would recognize, a signal to check airflow, temperature drift, and the cameras at that junction. The building would begin to watch, not to hurt, to remember. The safety audit notices went out that night. The email was formal, polite, and mandatory. Common areas would be inspected, electrical closets reviewed, fire doors tested. Nothing unusual. It was all standard, boring, legal. Victor called it landlord theater. He rolled his eyes in the Monday stand-up. "These people love clipboards," he said to his team. "Smile and wave. Don't give them a reason to make us spend money." He smirked at Samuel as he said it. "Even our janitor can pass this test." A few laughed, some didn't. Maya watched Samuel wipe the glass wall. She noticed his hands, steady, slow, deliberate. Not the hands of a man always rushed. She noticed that when he cleaned, he read the company's reflection, not the streaks, like he could see through things. On Tuesday, the elevator stopped between floors 21 and 22. People groaned, looked at their phones, pressed buttons. For 5 minutes, nothing moved. A call came through the intercom. Marcus's voice was calm. "Hang tight, folks. We see you. Tech is on the way." Victor was in the back, swearing under his breath. "Unbelievable," he snapped. "In this building? I'll tear the landlord a new one." In the corner, Samuel stood quiet with his cart. A young assistant near him trembled. The lights flickered once. He put a hand on the railing and spoke gently. "Breathe in," he told the assistant, "then out. This box is strong. It won't fall." "How do you know?" the assistant asked. "I know these cables," Samuel said. "They're new." Victor snorted. "What are you now, an engineer?" Minutes later, the elevator jolted. The doors opened a few inches, then a foot. Marcus and a tech in a blue jacket pried them wider and helped everyone out. Victor pushed past, fuming. Marcus caught Samuel's eye. "You good?" "Good," Samuel said. "Thank you." Marcus lowered his voice. "He's about to raise hell." Samuel nodded once. "He'll get his chance." That evening, the building's digital directory changed. The old property management logo vanished. In its place, a clean, new mark, Horizon Tower Holdings. Tenants looked up, puzzled. The front desk fielded questions. The receptionists had a script. Ownership change of the building, routine management update. Operations continue as usual. Victor stood at the desk, jaw tight. "Who the hell are they?" the receptionist said. "Ownership group," she said. "We have a welcome packet for tenant leads tomorrow." "I am the tenant lead," Victor said. "Then you'll get one," she replied, careful and polite. Victor turned away and saw Samuel dusting a side table. He approached like a cop closing on a suspect. "You hear about this?" he asked. "I clean floors," Samuel said. Victor's smile showed teeth. "Right, you do that." By Wednesday, new cleaning supplies had arrived. They were better than anything the staff had used before. Quiet vacuums, hospital-grade mops, ergonomic tools that saved wrists and backs. The night crew blinked at the boxes like kids on a holiday. "Someone upstairs fighting for us?" one asked. "Weird," another said. "We never get upgrades." Samuel showed them how to use the tools. He moved with calm authority, patient and clear. He fixed a loose wheel on a cart in seconds. He oiled a squeaky hinge with a small bottle from his pocket. "Thanks, Sam," a woman named Lupe said. "Feels like someone cares." "Someone does," he answered. He left envelopes in the break room, labeled only "Staff." Inside each was a gift card and a simple note in neat handwriting. For the late nights, for the early mornings. No signature. In a corner, Marcus watched it happen and shook his head with a smile down. He knew kindness when he saw it. He also knew power when he felt it. And something in the air had shifted. That same day, Rhea led the safety audit on floor 31. She was polite but firm. She asked for compliance records. She checked fire extinguishers and emergency lighting. She noted a blocked stairwell door where someone had stored boxes. She flagged it as a violation. Victor tried to charm her. "You look new," he said. "Welcome to the circus." "Thank you," Rhea said. "Please move the boxes from the exit today." "We're busy. Maybe tomorrow." "Today," she repeated, and wrote it down. When she left, Victor rolled his eyes. "Clipboard tyrants," he muttered to his team. "Move the boxes, but don't let this woman think she runs the place." Maya stared after Rhea, thoughtful. She had seen many managers. Rhea felt different, cool, certain, like someone who knew where authority really sat. That night, Samuel took a key out of his pocket and slid it into a lock behind a plain gray door on floor 27. Inside was a small office with bare walls, a wooden table, and 2 chairs. A coffee machine sat in the corner. No plaque on the door, no name on the wall. Quiet. Rhea was already there, placing a stack of files on the table. A man in a charcoal suit arrived a minute later. He introduced himself as Keller, legal counsel for Horizon. He had careful eyes and a voice like a calm river. Keller opened a folder. "Tenant ledger, service contracts, and incident reports," he said. "We've mapped." The Monday after the ownership meeting, the air in the building felt different. Not everyone could explain it. Some said it was the new logo on the screens. Some said it was the way security guards greeted them at the doors, more alert, more polite. Others noticed the cleaners walking straighter, their carts upgraded, their tools new. But Victor felt only one thing: irritation. He hated losing control of the narrative. He hated that a bunch of nobodies had been given attention. He hated that Maya had spoken up against him in front of the janitor. That morning, he stormed into the break room where Maya and 2 others were making coffee. "Team leads at 10, he barked. "Bring your reports. And Maya, make sure you do better math this time. I don't want another excuse about resources. If you can't stretch your people, maybe you don't belong here." Maya froze with her coffee mug in hand. The others lowered their eyes. Victor smirked and left, satisfied with the silence he had left behind. As he passed the janitor closet, he saw Samuel step out with a broom. Their eyes met briefly. Victor stopped, sneered. "Still here? You'd think with new owners they'd get rid of dead weight. Unless," he leaned in, "you're harder to fire than I thought." Samuel didn't answer. He simply closed the closet door and walked away. Victor chuckled under his breath, but as he turned the corner, a thought scraped at him. What if the old man knew something? He shook it off. Janitors didn't matter. By noon, the storm hit. Victor called a department meeting. He had the whole floor gathered, over 40 people packed into the open office. He stood in the center like a conductor, voice sharp. "Listen up. Numbers are down. Clients are unhappy. We have to cut hours. Bonuses are suspended until further notice." Groans rippled. Heads dropped. Someone whispered, "Again?" Victor raised his hand. "If anyone doesn't like it, the door's right there." He pointed at the glass entrance. "We're not a daycare, we're a business. Grow up." A woman in the back, nervous but trembling with anger, said, "But you promised last quarter." Victor snapped, "I didn't promise anything. You people hear what you want. Maybe you should all be thanking me. Without me, half of you wouldn't even have jobs." Silence. He smiled. He liked silence. Then came the noise. A phone buzzed, then another, then dozens. People checked their screens. Confused voices filled the room. "What's this? Email from Horizon? Employee feedback survey?" Victor frowned. "Ignore it. Spam." But the message was not spam. It was a formal notice from Horizon Tower Holdings. Anonymous staff feedback survey, building tenants. To improve working conditions, safety, and morale, Horizon invites all tenant employees to submit feedback. All submissions confidential. Results reviewed by ownership. Murmurs rose. Eyes brightened. People tapped their screens. Fingers moved quickly. Victor shouted, "Put those down! That's none of your business!" Maya looked him dead in the eye as she tapped submit. Others followed, one after another. The room buzzed like a hive awakened. Victor's face flushed red. His voice cracked with rage. "You think some landlord cares about you? They collect rent, that's it. They don't give a damn if you live or die in here." Samuel passed quietly in the hallway just then, pushing his cart. The survey ping had gone to him too, though he didn't need it. He glanced in through the glass wall. For a moment, his eyes met Maya's. She nodded once, just enough to be seen. Victor slammed his fist on the desk. "Meeting over. Get back to work before I start cutting more than bonuses." People dispersed quickly, whispering, glancing at their phones, ignoring Victor's glare. Victor stood alone, chest heaving. His eyes darted toward the hallway. The janitor was gone. That night, Victor drank heavily at a bar near the tower. He complained loudly to anyone who would listen. "Property owners think they run the place. Let them try. They don't know business. They don't know pressure. I do. You can't scare me with surveys and clipboards." Someone asked, "But what if they're serious? What if they get tenants on their side?" Victor smirked. "Tenants are sheep. They follow whoever yells loudest. And I yell louder than anyone." But deep inside, something crawled. The memory of Samuel's steady eyes. On Wednesday morning, Samuel arrived earlier than usual. The dawn light glowed faint through the glass. He polished the floor near the main lobby entrance, slow, methodical, watching reflections shift on the wet marble. Victor came in with his usual swagger, though his face was pale. He looked at Samuel, then at the building's glowing logo on the wall. "Tell me, Janitor, you know who runs this Horizon nonsense?" Samuel wrung his mop. "Maybe." Victor narrowed his eyes. "Yeah, maybe? Well, tell your landlord bosses this. If they mess with me, I'll bury them in paperwork. I'll drag their name through every client meeting I've got." He stopped. Samuel had stepped closer, mop handle upright like a staff. His eyes were calm, steady, but not submissive. "Be careful," Samuel said softly. Victor laughed nervously. "Careful? You threatening me?" "No," Samuel said, "reminding you. Words carry weight. Sometimes they fall back on the speaker." For a second, the lobby felt colder. The receptionist looked up, sensing the tension. Victor forced a grin and walked off, muttering, "Crazy old man." But the words stayed with him all morning. That afternoon, the first survey results were leaked. Employees buzzed with excitement. Screens lit up with percentages. 82% felt unvalued. 76% felt intimidated by management. 91% wanted safer, more respectful working conditions. Victor's name appeared repeatedly in anonymous comments. Toxic, abusive, bully. The hallway filled with whispers. Even junior managers exchanged uneasy glances. Victor exploded. "This is sabotage, lies. I'll sue whoever's behind this." But he could feel the shift. The fear that once served him had turned brittle. People weren't silent anymore. They were watching him, waiting. And Samuel, mopping nearby, heard every word. By Friday, the cracks widened. Victor's own bosses called him into a meeting. They were tense, holding copies of the survey report. One said, "Victor, this is bad optics. We can't afford negative press." Victor sneered. "Press? It's an anonymous wine fest. You're gonna take the word of janitors and interns over me?" Another boss cut in. "The building owners are pushing this. Horizon is serious. They've set a meeting with all tenant leads next week. You'll be there, and you will show cooperation." Victor slammed his fist on the table. "You can't be serious. They don't run this company." The boss said flatly, "And without this building, we don't." Victor went silent, jaw grinding. When he stormed out, Samuel was polishing a window near the hall. Their eyes met again. This time, Victor didn't mock. He just walked faster, not liking the feeling in his gut. That night, Samuel returned to the hidden office on floor 27. Rhea and Keller were waiting. "The survey worked," Rhea said. "They're rattled, Victor especially." Keller added, "The comments are damning. If we publish selectively, we can pressure tenant leadership into replacing him." Samuel stood by the window, looking at the rain streaking down the glass. "Not yet. Let him think he still holds power. Let him show his worst. Then the fall will be clean." "And the people?" Rhea asked. Samuel nodded slowly. "We protect them. The innocent keep their jobs. Only the rot comes out." Keller adjusted his glasses. "And Victor?" Samuel turned from the window. His eyes were calm but sharp as glass. "He'll learn who owns the floor he stands on." The following Monday dawned with blue skies and thin sunlight bouncing off the tower's windows. The city looked clean, sharp, alive. But inside, the air was heavy. Everyone knew Victor was angry. He hadn't stopped since the survey results. His voice had been louder in meetings, his jokes sharper, his barbs more cutting. He needed to reassert control, to show he was still the loudest man in the building. That morning, he got his chance. It began in the lobby. Samuel was polishing the brass railing by the main staircase. His movements were slow, steady, precise, the way they always were. A small crowd of employees was moving past, coffee in hand, heading for the elevators. Victor appeared at the top of the stairs, phone to his ear, laughing in that high, false way. He spotted Samuel below. Something mean flickered in his eyes. "Hold on," he said into the phone. "You've got to see this." He ended the call, leaned on the railing, and raised his voice so everyone could hear. "Hey, janitor!" Samuel didn't look up. He kept polishing. "I said, janitor!" Victor barked. "Don't ignore me!" Now heads were turning. People slowed near the elevators, sensing trouble. Samuel finally looked up, calm. "Yes, sir?" Victor's grin spread. "Floor looks a little dusty today. Why don't you show everyone how you clean it? Right here, right now." A murmur rippled. Some whispered, "Not again." Others held their breath. Samuel's eyes didn't blink. "The floor is clean," he said. Victor descended a few steps, pointing dramatically. "Oh no, I see dust. Don't you all see dust?" He gestured at the marble. "Go on, janitor, show us your skill." Samuel stood still, rag in hand, steady as stone. Victor's voice rose louder, almost a shout. "Come on, entertain us, or is mopping too complicated today?" A nervous laugh came from one of the juniors, but most faces stayed grim. Maya, walking past with a folder, stopped cold. "Enough, Victor," she said. Victor snapped toward her. "Stay out of this, Maya." Her voice trembled but didn't break. "You've humiliated him enough." Victor sneered. "Humiliated? He cleans toilets for a living. I'm just reminding everyone where the bottom is." The lobby was silent now. Receptionists froze behind the desk. Security guards shifted uneasily by the doors. Even the coffee smell seemed to fade. Samuel finally lowered his rag. His voice was soft, but it carried. "The bottom," he said, "is not where you think it is." Victor blinked. A chill crept into his chest. For a split second, it felt as if everyone in the room had stopped breathing. Then Samuel turned, gathered his cart, and pushed it toward the service elevator. He didn't look back. Victor tried to laugh, but it sounded forced. "See that? Even he admits it. The bottom walks away when spoken to." Nobody laughed. People just drifted off, whispering. Maya's glare followed him until he left. That night, the video appeared. Someone had filmed the whole lobby incident on their phone. By morning, it was circulating in private chats. The clip showed Victor jeering, Samuel standing calm, Maya stepping in, and then Samuel's final words. "The bottom is not where you think it is." The clip spread fast. Within hours, it reached employees on every floor. By noon, it was outside the company. Strangers online were commenting, "Legend janitor. This Victor guy is a clown." That one line, cold as ice. Victor stormed around the office, demanding to know who filmed it. No one admitted. He threatened firings, lawsuits, anything. But his threats only made the whispers grow louder. By Wednesday, Victor's bosses summoned him again. Their voices were tight, faces grim. "Victor, this is getting out of hand," one said. "You're becoming a liability." another added. "The owners are watching. We can't shield you if this continues." Victor slammed his hands on the table. "You're going to side with a janitor over me? A janitor?" The oldest boss leaned forward, voice cold. "It's not about him being a janitor. It's about you making us all look like fools. Do you understand the difference?" Victor's throat went dry. For the first time, he felt something he hadn't in years, the floor slipping under his feet. That evening, the rain returned. The city shimmered under wet lights. Samuel sat in the small office on floor 27 with Rhea and Keller. "The video is out," Rhea said. "It's everywhere," Rhea said. Keller slid a stack of documents across the table. "Tenant meeting scheduled for Friday. Horizon will present compliance failures, survey results, and proposed remedies, including removal of toxic management." Samuel didn't sit. He stood by the window, watching the blurred lights outside. He said quietly, "Victor thinks humiliation is strength. We'll show him what true humiliation feels like." "And after?" Keller asked. Samuel turned. His eyes were sharp, voice like steel. "After," he said, "he learns whose floor he's standing on." Friday came fast. The tenants' conference hall was packed again, bigger than last time. Rows of chairs filled, chatter loud. Screens showed charts, safety violations, blocked exits, broken policies, anonymous survey results. Victor sat in the front row, arms crossed, jaw tight. His juniors flanked him, pale and nervous. Maya sat 2 rows back, silent but attentive. Rhea stepped to the microphone. Her voice was calm, controlled. She spoke of standards, respect, compliance. She displayed photos of violations. She read anonymous staff testimonies. The crowd murmured, restless, concerned. Then came the survey video montage. Words on the screen, typed anonymously, spoken aloud by an automated voice. "I feel afraid to speak in meetings. I was mocked for asking questions. Our manager humiliates people in front of the whole team. It feels like we are nothing to him." Faces turned toward Victor. His jaw clenched harder. His bosses shifted uneasily. Victor finally exploded. He shot to his feet, pointing at Rhea. "This is a setup. You think some landlord gets to decide how we run things? This is my company, my team. You can't touch me." The room buzzed with shock. People whispered furiously. And then a quiet sound. Footsteps. Samuel walked slowly down the aisle. He wasn't in overalls this time. He wore a dark suit, simple but sharp. His posture straight, his eyes calm. The entire room seemed to freeze as the janitor, turned silhouette of authority, moved toward the stage. Victor's face drained of color. "What is this?" he demanded. Samuel mounted the stage, standing beside Rhea. He looked out over the crowd, then directly at Victor. "This building," he said simply. The room gasped. A ripple of whispers surged. Phones lifted, recording. Victor laughed, a high, desperate sound. "Yours? You? Don't make me laugh. You mop floors." Samuel's voice didn't rise. "I also sign deeds, and contracts, and your lease." Keller stepped forward, placing a folder on the podium. "For the record," he said, "Samuel Ortiz is the registered owner of Horizon Tower Holdings, the legal entity controlling this property. He is your landlord." The silence that followed was electric. Victor's knees nearly buckled. His mouth opened, but no words came. He looked around desperately, at his bosses, at his juniors, at Maya. No one came to his aid. Samuel's calm gaze held him like iron. You mocked me in front of everyone. You laughed at me, called me nothing. Today, you learn what nothing really is. The room erupted with whispers, gasps, cameras flashing. Maya smiled faintly for the first time in weeks. Victor stood frozen, pale, his empire crumbled. After the reveal, the room stayed silent long enough to hear the soft hum of the lights. Victor stared at Samuel like he was looking at a ghost. Samuel didn't look triumphant, he looked steady. Rhea took the mic again. Operations will continue, but there will be changes. Her tone was calm, clean. We are instituting a building conduct covenant. Every tenant leadership team will sign it this week. It defines respect standards in shared spaces, bars harassment, and sets consequences. Violations trigger fines. Repeated violations trigger lease review. A murmur moved through the crowd. Phones lit up as people scanned the QR code on the screen. Terms, deadlines, real teeth. Victor found his voice. You can't police my people. Samuel turned to him. No one is policing your work. We are protecting the people who do it. He faced the room. There will also be a staff equity fund for cleaners and guards. It begins today. Overtime paid at time and a half. New break room on level 2. Counseling hours on Fridays. Safety training for everyone who wants it. At the back, Lupe covered her mouth with her hand. Marcus looked down, blinking fast. Someone started clapping. It spread, first hesitant, then strong. Victor's face twitched. Samuel stepped away from the podium. Thank you for your time. He didn't bow, he didn't smile. He simply walked down from the stage like a man who was done with a task. Maya caught his path. Mr. Ortiz, she said softly. Samuel, he corrected. Samuel, she said. Thank you, her voice shook, for all of this. He nodded once. Do your work, I'll do mine. By afternoon, emails went out with the conduct covenant attached. Rhea's team began walkthroughs with tenant leads to explain it. Cameras and access logs were already upgraded. No one could claim confusion. The rules were plain. Victor held an emergency huddle. We're not signing this, he said. This is landlord overreach. A junior manager stared at the paper. It's basic respect rules, sir. Victor slammed his hand on the table. It's control. Today it's posters and surveys. Tomorrow they'll tell us how to think. We refuse. Across the glass, people pretended not to look. Maya watched from her desk. She could feel something new in the air. Not fear, not yet safety, but a space opening up. Her phone buzzed. An email from Horizon. Pilot, Innovation Lab, Level 2 Conference A. Building will host cross-tenant demos next month. Tenants may nominate teams to present. Stipend provided for materials. Preference given to teams with a record of inclusion and mentoring. Maya read it twice. She looked up, eyes bright. Victor stalked by her desk. Whatever that is, decline. We need billable hours, not innovation. Maya met his gaze. It's after hours. Stipend covers materials. It could help recruiting. Decline, he repeated, and walked on. She left the email open on her screen, a small square of possibility. That evening, in the hidden office on 27, Keller set a thin file on the table. Financials on Victor's company, he said. Public filings and what we could infer. They're leveraged. They depend on 2 big clients. If one pulls back, they breach a covenant on their line of credit. Samuel didn't sit. He stood with his hands on the chair. Who holds the line? Third Coast Capital, Keller said. There's also a short-term receivables facility at Shoreline Bank. We can approach either. If they wobble, both will sell their position quickly. Contact them, Samuel said. Rhea looked up. Are you sure you want to go there now? Not to crush, Samuel said. To prepare. We don't topple a building. We change the load-bearing beams. If the company wants to be better, we help. If it refuses, we buy the debt and take the wheel. Keller nodded, already dialing in his mind. Tuesday morning, the new break room on level 2 opened. It smelled like fresh paint and coffee. There were big tables, soft chairs, a microwave that actually worked, a fridge that didn't buzz. On the wall hung a simple sign, "Hands that hold the tower." The cleaning crew came in, hats in hand, not sure if they were allowed. Rhea welcomed them. Marcus brought a box of donuts. Lupe set her lunch on a table and laughed, a clear, surprised sound. Samuel stood in the doorway and watched. He didn't make a speech. He only straightened a chair and checked the outlet covers. Small things, real things. Maya walked in with a tray of paper cups and a coffee urn. "For everyone," she said, "from my team." People thanked her one by one. She looked shy, then proud. Samuel caught his eye. "You applied for the Innovation Lab?" "I want to," she said, "but my manager—" "Do it anyway," Samuel said. She swallowed. "He'll punish me." Samuel considered that for a long second. He won't be in position to. Her breath caught. What does that mean? "Do your work," he said softly. "I'll do mine." Wednesday, 9 a.m., an unannounced fire drill hit floor 31. Alarms sounded, doors opened, people filed to the stairs, some annoyed, some amused. Rhea's inspectors stood at the exits to time the evacuation and check compliance. Victor came out of his office, grabbed his laptop bag, and turned toward the elevator. "Stairs, sir. Elevators are disabled during drills." "I have a call," Victor snapped. "Stairs, sir." Victor pushed past, swearing, only to find the elevator doors unlit and dead. Cameras watched as he yanked the button panel futilely, then kicked the corner skirting. He hurled his empty coffee cup down the hall. The inspector wrote, calm and slow. At the stairwell, a stack of boxes blocked a landing again. Rhea's team photographed it. A junior manager blushed. "We were moving files," he muttered. "Move them now," the inspector said. Down 2 flights, Victor shouldered through people, barking, "Move!" He hit a guardrail with his bag and stumbled. The camera caught him grabbing a woman's shoulder to steady himself, hard enough to make her wince. She filed a report before lunch. By noon, the violation packet was complete. Blocked egress, non-cooperation, unsafe behavior. It went to Victor's bosses with fines attached. They called him in it too. They didn't yell, they didn't plead. "Fix it," one said. "Sign the covenant, apologize to staff, or we start looking at your chair." Victor's smile was brittle. "You wouldn't dare." "Look outside," the oldest boss said. "Everyone already believes you're the problem." Thursday brought another blow. Third Coast Capital requested a client continuity call. It was not routine. Their voice was polite but tight. "We're seeing risk signals," the banker said. "Media mentions, employee unrest. We need comfort on management stability." Victor lied. "A few loud interns. It's under control." "Good," the banker said. "Send confirmation of your signed building conduct covenant and the remediation plan for the safety violations by Friday." Victor went silent. The banker waited. "Mr. Lang?" "We'll do it," Victor said through his teeth. After the call, he paced his office. His juniors watched him like rabbits watching a hawk. He jabbed a finger at one. "Draft a press statement. Say we value our people. Say we're partnering with Horizon." The junior nodded too fast. "Yes, sir." "And cancel that stupid innovation lab thing," Victor added. "No one from our team participates." The junior hesitated. "Ms. Maya already." "Cancel it," Victor repeated, and walked on. That night, Maya stayed late. The floor was mostly dark. She gathered notes into a thin folder, sketches, slide printouts, a small story about a user who felt seen. Her hands stopped shaking. In the doorway, Samuel watched for a moment, then left without a word. She didn't see him go. She didn't need to. He walked the service corridor with an easy pace, the way he did for years as a janitor. He passed the rooms he had mopped, the doors he had unlocked, the stairwells he had cleared. He touched the wall with his palm, as if to greet it. The building felt warm, like a living thing that had chosen to be kind. His phone buzzed. A message from Keller. "Shoreline deal confirmed. Papers tomorrow." Samuel typed back one word: "Proceed." He slid the phone into his pocket and kept walking. He didn't need to rush. The building would remember. And next week, when the summit came and the papers changed hands, Monday arrived with the kind of sunlight that made the tower's glass blaze like fire. But inside, the air was brittle. Everyone sensed something shifting. Victor tried to rally his team at the morning meeting. He stood at the whiteboard, marker in hand, energy forced. "We're refocusing," he declared. "Innovation Lab is a waste of time. Horizon is overreaching. We stick to clients, billables, revenue." His juniors scribbled notes, nodding too quickly. But they weren't looking at him. They were glancing at their phones, at quiet pings from Horizon's portal. Maya was silent. Her badge for the lab sat hidden in her bag, pressing against her like a secret. Victor caught her eye. "Maya, you have something to add?" She shook her head. "Not today." He smirked. "Good. Maybe you're finally learning to listen." But she wasn't learning silence. She was saving her words for the right moment. Downstairs, the new break room buzzed. Cleaners, guards, and night shift staff sat in groups, laughing, eating, alive in a way the building had never seen. Marcus leaned back with his coffee. "Feels like a different place," he said. Lupe nodded. "I don't dread the clock-in anymore." A younger cleaner pointed at the sign on the wall. "Hands that hold the tower." "Who put that up?" Marcus grinned. "You know." They all glanced at Samuel, who was quietly fixing a crooked chair leg with a wrench. He didn't look up, didn't ask for credit, but his presence was steady, like the weight at the center of the room. One by one, people started saying "Good morning" when they passed him in the halls. It was small. It was everything. Tuesday, Victor got a call from Third Coast Capital. He locked his door, voice low, desperate. Yes, we're signing the covenant. It's just paperwork. Don't overreact." The banker's tone was icy. "We've seen the videos, Mr. Lang. We've read the survey results. Stability is part of our risk model. If you don't show improvement, your line of credit is at risk." Victor's hand trembled. "You wouldn't?" "We would," the banker said flatly. The call ended. Victor slammed the phone down. He didn't see the red light on the corner camera, blinking steady. Horizon's access logs recorded every raised voice. That evening, Maya sat with her small team in the innovation lab. She spread her sketches on the table. Simple, clean, practical. Her voice shook at first, but her colleagues encouraged her. "This is good," one said. "Really good." "We could pitch this," another added. Maya smiled, nervous but brighter. For the first time, she felt like her ideas weren't being crushed. At the door, Samuel lingered. He didn't step inside. He only listened. When Maya's laughter rose, real and unguarded, he turned away with a faint smile. The building was healing. Wednesday morning, Horizon posted official compliance notices on digital boards in the lobby. A scrolling list showed violations by tenant companies. Dates, fixes required, fines pending. Victor's company was near the top. Blocked fire egress, non-compliance with safety drill, management misconduct. Employees stopped to read. Some took photos. Victor arrived late, saw the board, and went white. "Take it down," he barked at the receptionist. She shook her head. "It's auto-fed from Horizon. I can't change it." He whirled around, saw Samuel polishing the brass near the door. "This is your doing," he hissed. Samuel didn't look up. "I don't post boards. Buildings do." Victor's teeth clenched. "You think you're untouchable?" "No," Samuel said calmly. "Just steady." By noon, Victor's bosses called him again. They were done with patience. "Victor, this is untenable," one said. "You've embarrassed us," another added. "Sign the covenant, issue the apology, today." Victor's face burned. "You're folding to janitors and landlords?" The oldest boss leaned forward. "We're folding to reality. Adapt or you're gone." Victor stormed out, chest heaving. For the first time, he felt alone. That night, the summit prep began in earnest. Rhea arranged the tenant slate. Keller confirmed the shoreline purchase. Horizon now controlled a portion of Victor's receivables. Quietly, discreetly. Samuel stood at the window of the hidden office, looking out at the rain. "Next week," he said softly. Rhea asked, "Do you want Victor removed before then?" Samuel shook his head. "No. He needs to walk into the summit still thinking he's untouchable. Pride makes the fall visible." Keller adjusted his glasses. "And Maya?" Samuel's eyes softened. "She'll show them a different kind of power. The kind that builds." Thursday morning, Victor tried to strike back. He called his team into the break room, waving a memo. "This covenant? It's nothing. We'll sign, but it doesn't change anything. Don't let Horizon trick you. They're landlords, not leaders." People listened in silence. Then Maya spoke. Her voice was quiet but firm. "It already changed something." Victor froze. "What did you say?" She met his eyes. "People greet the janitor now. Guards stand straighter. Cleaners have a real break room. That's change." The room went silent. Someone murmured, "She's right." Victor's jaw worked. He forced a laugh. Cute speech, save it for the daycare. But the laughter didn't come. Only silence. By Friday, the cracks were obvious. 2 junior managers requested transfers. Anonymous posts on the portal praised Horizon's changes. "For the first time, I feel seen. Finally, someone cares about safety. We're not invisible anymore." Victor raged in his office, slamming doors, shouting into phones. But no one answered him with the same fear as before. Outside, Samuel passed with his cart, moving calm, steady, patient. He heard Victor's shouts, but didn't stop. He only whispered to himself. Words fall back on the speaker. That evening, Maya worked late in the innovation lab. She rehearsed her demo, voice steady now, slides neat. She didn't know that Samuel was nearby, watching from the shadows with a faint smile. She didn't need him to step in. She was ready. And upstairs, Victor sat in his office with a drink, staring at his reflection in the glass. He had mocked the janitor for years. Now the janitor owns the floor beneath his feet. For the first time in his career, Victor Lang felt fear. And the week of the summit hadn't even begun. The morning of the summit dawned crisp and sharp. The tower glowed like polished steel in the sun. Banners in the lobby announcing, "Tenant Leadership Summit, Horizon Tower Holdings." By 8 a.m., the lobby was filled with suits, laptops, and hushed voices. Tenant leads checked their agendas. Screens flashed the day's schedule. At the top of the list, opening demos, Innovation Lab. Maya stood backstage, heart hammering. Her folder shook in her hands. Her small team gathered around her, whispering encouragement. She had never presented to so many people, never stood under such bright lights. "You're ready," one said. "You know this better than anyone," another added. Maya nodded, forcing a breath. She clutched the badge Samuel had given her. Victor was in the audience, front row, jaw tight, eyes sharp. He had tried to cancel her demo 3 times. Each attempt was quietly overridden by Horizon's event staff. Now he could only sit and watch. At 9 sharp, Rhea stepped to the podium. Her presence was calm, precise. "Welcome to the first Horizon Tenant Leadership Summit," she said. "This is not a meeting about rules. This is a meeting about people, about the work they do and the spaces that hold them. We begin with voices that deserve to be heard." She gestured to the stage. "Innovation Lab, first demo, Maya Chen and team." The lights shifted. Maya walked out. Her knees trembled, but when she looked up, she saw Samuel standing at the back of the hall. Not in a suit this time, in simple clothes, steady, hands clasped, watching. Something in her chest steadied. She began. "Our team builds digital tools for clients, but tools are only as strong as the people who use them. We designed a system that listens, simplifies, and adapts. It isn't about flash, it's about making people's work lighter." Slides flicked behind her, clean visuals, user stories, simple numbers. She spoke clearly, voice warming as she went. Her team added details, quick and sharp. The audience leaned forward, murmuring, impressed. When she finished, applause rose, stronger than she had expected. She blinked back tears. From the front row, Victor clapped once, slow, mocking. "Cute, very daycare." A few people frowned. Some even hissed. The tide had shifted. Maya stood tall. "Daycare is where people grow, Victor. Maybe you should have gone to one." Gasps, laughter, applause. Victor's face burned, his jaw locked. Samuel's eyes glinted faintly in the back. He gave the smallest nod. The summit continued with other demos, panels, discussions, but the energy of Maya's words lingered. People whispered about her in the hallways. Some came up to shake her hand. "Brave, well said. We need leaders like you." Victor prowled the room like a caged animal. His juniors avoided his eyes. His bosses kept their distance. Finally, after lunch, the session everyone was waiting for arrived. Ownership Address, Horizon Tower Holdings. The lights dimmed. Keller stepped out first, crisp in his charcoal suit. He spoke briefly of financial stewardship, safety, and stability. Then he paused. "It is my honor to introduce the principal of Horizon Tower Holdings, the owner of this building, Mr. Samuel Ortiz." Gasps, murmurs, heads turned, cameras lifted. Samuel walked onto the stage. No cart, no overalls, just a simple suit, dark and sharp. His steps were slow, deliberate. He stood at the podium and looked out at the sea of faces. He didn't raise his hands. He didn't smile. He simply began. "I was a janitor here for many years." The room stilled.
People looked past me. Some were kind, some ignored me, some mocked me. I cleaned floors while men in suits stepped over them. I listened, I watched, and I learned. He paused, letting silence breathe. This building is not steel and glass. It is hands. Hands that type, hands that lift, hands that hold. When those hands are mocked, the tower shakes. When they are honored, the tower stands tall. The cleaners at the back sat straighter. The guards lifted their chins. Maya's eyes glistened. Samuel's gaze swept the room, calm but cutting. I bought this building not to own walls, but to change what they hold. Respect is not optional here. Dignity is not optional here. If you cannot work with that, you cannot work here. The applause was thunderous. Victor shot to his feet, voice breaking through the noise. "This is a sham. You're a janitor. You think owning some paper makes you a king? You're nothing." The room hushed. All eyes turned to him. Samuel looked at him, voice soft but sharp. "Nothing is a man who thinks power is mocking the powerless. Nothing is a voice no one listens to anymore." Victor's face twisted. "You can't fire me. You don't own my company." Samuel didn't flinch. Not yet. Keller stepped forward, holding up a folder. "For the record, Horizon now controls a portion of your receivables. Shoreline Bank has sold its position. Third Coast Capital has offered contingent terms on your credit line. Effective today, Horizon is a stakeholder in your company's survival." The crowd erupted. Phones flashed. Victor staggered as if struck. You bought my debt?" he gasped. "Debt," Samuel said evenly, "is also a floor, and I own the floor you stand on." The room exploded in applause, gasps, whispers. Maya covered her mouth, stunned. The cleaners clapped, some with tears in their eyes. Marcus let out a low whistle. Victor looked around wildly, searching for support. His bosses stared at the ground. His juniors avoided his gaze. He was alone. Samuel stepped closer to the edge of the stage, his eyes never leaving Victor. "For years you mocked me in this lobby, called me nothing, laughed with your friends. Today, I stand here not for revenge alone. I stand to show every person you stepped on that the floor rises, that dignity cannot be destroyed." Victor's lips trembled. You can't." Samuel's voice cut like steel. "You're finished." The crowd rose in applause, standing, roaring. Victor staggered back, pale, sweat on his brow. He turned, pushing through the aisle, shouts following him. Cameras caught every second. And Samuel, the janitor they once ignored, stood on the stage with calm authority, watching a tyrant fall. That night, headlines spread across the city. Janitor revealed as owner, dismantles abusive manager at Summit. From mop to master, Samuel Ortiz reshapes workplace power. Clips of Maya's line, "Daycare is where people grow," went viral. She received dozens of messages, invitations, job offers. But she stayed late at the tower, sitting in the quiet innovation lab, hands pressed to her face, overwhelmed. Samuel passed by, pausing at the doorway. "You spoke well," he said. She looked up, tears glinting. "I was terrified." "You were strong," he replied. "Fear doesn't cancel strength." She smiled faintly. "What happens to Victor now?" Samuel's eyes were steady. He will learn what it is to be small. He turned, walking down the corridor. His footsteps echoed steady, calm. He didn't need to rush. The building would remember. and Victor Lang's downfall had only just begun.
The day after the summit, the city woke up buzzing. Clips of Samuel's speech played on morning shows. Articles called him the quiet owner. Comment sections filled with stories from janitors and guards across the city. Some wrote, "I felt seen." Others wrote, "Maybe my building can change too." Victor read none of it. He sat in his office with the blinds down, phone in hand, eyes red from lack of sleep. He had a plan. Ugly, fast, loud. At 9:02 a.m., a blast email hit several clients and local reporters from an anonymous account. Subject: Janitor Tyrant, real story. The body was full of lies. It claimed Samuel had bullied staff, had rigged ownership, had faked the survey. It dragged Ria's name. It twisted Keller's role. It called the staff equity fund a bribe. It ended with a promise of documents. Within minutes, screenshots spread inside the building. People whispered, worried. The old fear tried to return like a fog. Ria moved first. She posted a short statement on the lobby screens and the tenant portal. "We stand by facts. We stand by people." Independent auditors verified surveys, access logs, and safety reports. Our doors are open to any tenant with concerns. No fire, no shouting, just calm water poured on a spark. Maya messaged her team, "Don't spread the rumor, wait for facts." Samuel stayed quiet in public. In private, he met Ria and Keller in the small office on 27. Keller placed a printout of the email on the table. "We can trace some routing. It's clumsy. He used a personal device." Ria asked, "Public response?" Samuel shook his head. "Not yet. Let him overplay. He always does." He turned to the window. Rain began to tick against the glass. The building will hold. By noon, Victor tried the second strike. A fake leak showed up on a gossip site. Grainy photos of Samuel in the lobby, cropped to look like he was yelling at staff. The caption read, "Billionaire janitor bullies workers." It lasted 20 minutes. Then the full footage appeared, from 3 angles, pulled from Horizon's camera archives and posted by a cleaner's account. It showed the real scene, Samuel speaking to Marcus with a kind face, listening more than talking. The comments flipped in seconds. "Nice try. Receipts, baby." Imagine thinking this would work. Victor threw his phone at the wall. It bounced, unbroken. He slammed his fist on the desk. New plan. That night, a man with a gray cap and a tool bag approached the tower's loading dock. He flashed a badge that looked almost real. "Vendor," he told the guard. "Server room filters. Emergency." Marcus stepped forward. "Emergency at 9 p.m.? "Orders," the man said. He tried to walk past. Marcus moved between him and the door. "Hold up." The man shrugged, impatient. "Do you want a fine? I'm just here to swap filters." "Name," Marcus said. "Company. Work order number." The man hesitated, then rattled off a string too fast, like a memorized line. Marcus never raised his voice. He typed the number into the new portal. It returned red. No work order. He looked back at the man. "Try again." The man's jaw tensed. "I don't have time for this." Ria appeared from the corridor, calm as always. She checked the badge with a small scanner. It beeped wrong. "Security policy," Ria said. "You can wait while we call dispatch, or you can leave." The man looked at the door, then at the camera dome above. He lowered his head and walked away fast. Marcus watched him go. "You think that was him?" Ria shook his head. "He works for him.
or for someone who thinks like him. She sent a message to Samuel. Attempted entry blocked. All calm. Samuel's reply came back in one word: good. Victor's third strike came the next morning. Anonymous posters appeared on corkboards and break rooms overnight. Beware the landlord cage. Surveillance is control. Say no to the covenant. Some employees paused reading. Some frowned. Some rolled their eyes. Lupe saw one and pulled it down. She pinned a handwritten note in its place. Respect is not a cage. We cleaned your coffee. Signed the covenant. Other cleaners did the same. Guards nodded, quiet, proud. By noon, most posters were gone. Victor paced. Sheep, he muttered, all sheep. He called a junior manager into his office. Tell the team to keep copies of those posters. We'll claim harassment. The junior's face was pale. Sir, HR says we must comply with the covenant. They want your apology by end of day. Victor laughed. My apology? To a mop? The junior didn't answer. When he left, he stopped in the corridor and leaned against the wall, shaking. Victor tried the second strike. He pulled a cleaner aside near the stairwell, a young man fresh on the job. Hey, Victor said lightly, sliding an envelope toward him. You look like you could use a bonus. Do me a favor. Tonight, leave the server room on level 31 unlocked. The cleaner stared at the envelope, then at Victor. Why? Victor smiled with too many teeth. Airflow. The machines get hot. You'll be helping. The young man's hands didn't move. Sir, we have rules. Rules are for people without favors, Victor said. This is a favor. The cleaner swallowed. Then he saw the round, dark eye of a camera above the exit sign. He pushed the envelope back into Victor's chest. No, sir. He walked away, legs shaking. He told Lupe. Lupe told Marcus. Marcus told Rhea. Rhea told Samuel. By 4 p.m., Keller sent a letter to Victor's bosses. Allegation of bribery, building security. Camera timestamp attached. At 5, Victor's boss called him in. Did you try to bribe a cleaner to break access protocol? Victor's hands spread. It was a joke. Cameras don't laugh, the boss said. Sign the apology now. Victor's eyes burned. No. Then you are suspended pending review. Silence. A long, heavy silence. Victor stood. You can't, his voice shook. You need me. The boss didn't blink. We need leadership. Go home. Victor walked out with his laptop under his arm, head low, face mask of rage. People saw him. They did not look away. He didn't go home. At 10:13 p.m., a motion sensor lit up in a service corridor on 28. A man in a hoodie moved fast, key card in hand. He swiped at a door. Access denied. He swiped again. Access denied. The hoodie turned toward the camera, tugged low over the eyes. He tried another door. The red light blinked like a heartbeat. Denied. Marcus and another guard intersected him near the freight elevator. Evening, Marcus said lightly. Can we help you? The hoodie pushed, tried to slip by. Fast, stupid. Marcus didn't grab him. He simply stepped once to the side and the second guard closed the angle. A small dance. The hoodie stopped. ID, please, Marcus said. The man lifted his head just enough. It wasn't Victor. It was one of Victor's contracted IT guys, the one who often carried 2 phones. Forgot my badge, he muttered. You just used it, Marcus said. The man's shoulders sagged. He handed over the card. Rhea arrived with a clipboard and a soft voice. Let's check your work order. There was no work order. They didn't yell. They didn't cuff him. They simply walked him out, logged the attempt, flagged the badge, and sent a notice to his employer. The next morning, the man's contract was canceled. Calm, clean, quiet. Victor watched from across the street in the dark, breath fogging the cold air. He wanted to scream. He wanted to smash glass. He did nothing. He only watched the doors breathe open and close and felt for the first time, deeply, that the building did not want him. He still had one card left: clients. On Thursday, he messaged a key client COO. Urgent, landlord overreach threatens your project. Meet me at noon, off-site. The COO, curious, wary, agreed. Victor arrived in his finest suit, eyes bright with desperate charm. They're trying to seize control, he lied. They'll use your data, your schedule. They'll crush deadlines with safety checks. You should reconsider.
The storm did not stop. Wind hammered the tower. Rain drew silver lines down the glass. In the lobby, the nightlights hummed low and steady. Security radios clicked softly with status checks. The building felt awake, like a patient animal that knew a hunt was coming. Victor sat in his car across the street. He hadn't slept. Stubble shadowed his jaw. His suit looked like it remembered a better life. He watched the doors and breathed fast, shallow. In his head, a single sentence kept beating like a drum. I can still win. At 10:41 p.m., he stepped into the rain and crossed the street. Marcus saw him first on the camera wall, a lone figure, head down, moving too fast for a man with nothing to hide. Victor at the south vestibule, Marcus said into his mic. Copy? Copy, came a guard's calm voice from the floor above. Eyes on. Rhea was already in the service corridor, reviewing weekend maintenance. She heard the call and turned. Marcus? Here, he replied. We'll keep it quiet. Rhea nodded. I'm with you. Samuel was walking the empty hall on 27, the habit of a man who spent years making sure that small things were right. He didn't carry a radio, but he knew the rhythm of a building. He felt the shift in the air, the way you feel a train before you hear it. He took the stairs, steady and silent. Victor pushed through the first set of doors and into the vestibule. He held a cap low over his eyes. He tugged the second door. Locked. He swore under his breath and glanced at the camera dome. The red light stared back. The night guard at the desk pressed the intercom. Good evening. Victor kept his face down. Forgot my badge. Name? The guard asked. Victor Lang, he said, too fast, then tried to steady his voice. Manager, 31. Badge? The guard repeated. Victor lifted an old spare card he had kept hidden. He pressed it to the reader. Access denied. He pressed again, harder, like force could change a fact. Access denied. The guard didn't raise his voice. Please wait, we'll bring you a temporary. Victor set his jaw and did the thing he had promised himself he wouldn't do. He reached for the red handle behind the glass, yanked it down, and pulled the fire alarm. Sirens cried into the storm. The building did not panic. It moved. Emergency lights clicked on. Doors magnetized open along the evacuation routes. The elevator cars slid to the lobby and locked. A recorded voice spoke in calm words. Proceed to the nearest stairwell. Do not use elevators. Marcus was already in motion, directing the flow with an open hand and a steady tone. This way. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Rhea coordinated by radio. Floor captains, call head counts at your muster points. We have a pull in the south vestibule. No heat sensors, likely false. On the cameras, Victor stood alone, with the alarm still ringing.
He looked less like a manager and more like a boy who had broken a rule and realized the rule was bigger than him. Samuel stepped into the lobby from the service hall, rain slickers strung over his arm. He walked to the desk and spoke quietly to the guard. "Keep the flow clear. Don't let the alarm own the room." He turned to Victor. For a moment, neither man spoke. "This is your victory?" Samuel asked softly. Victor's eyes were wild. "No one listens unless I make them." "Then you were never leading," Samuel said. Guards and staff formed their calm lines. People came down the stairs, surprised but not afraid. They followed the path markers newly painted last week, bright and simple. They gathered near the glass, counted, checked names. The tower did what it had been taught to do. Ria stood near the vestibule door with a small tablet. Readings from heat sensors and smoke detectors rolled across the screen. Normal. She looked up at Samuel and gave a tiny shake of her head. False. Marcus spoke into his mic. "All floors clear, no heat, this is a pull." "Reset when FD clears," Ria replied. "Document everything." Victor stared at the calm like it was an insult. "You think this saves you? I'll tell every client you turned this place into a jail. Cameras everywhere, rules everywhere. You think they want to work in a cage?" Samuel looked at the people behind the glass. Guards handing out umbrellas to staff at the door. Cleaners guiding a woman to a bench. An intern laughing nervously until Maya patted her shoulder and counted her team. "They don't look caged," Samuel said. "They look cared for." Victor's mouth worked. He shook his head hard, as if he could unsee it. Firefighters arrived, checked the panel, took a slow walk, saw nothing, and nodded the all clear. The alarm quieted. The building exhaled. People filed back in with the same slow order, like a tide returning. Samuel did not raise his voice. He did not speak into a microphone. He only looked at Victor and said, "Go home." "Make me," Victor hissed. Samuel shook his head. "I don't need to." Marcus stepped one pace closer, not threatening, just present. The kind of presence that makes rash ideas feel smaller. Victor stared at him, at the red light on the camera, at the open doors. He turned without a word and walked back into the rain. The report landed on Keller's desk before midnight. False alarm, manual pull, attempted unauthorized entry, badge logs, camera clips, witness statements. He sent 2 emails, one to the city's fire marshal office, one to Third Coast Capitol. At 7:12 a.m., the fire marshal called the tenant's leadership. Fines for the false alarm, review of the company's safety training lapses, and a warning that future incidents would escalate. At 8:03 a.m., Third Coast called Keller. Their tone was dry and clean. "The covenant breach is in hand. If your offer stands, we're ready to transact today." "It stands," Keller said. By lunch, Horizon controlled the credit line. They already held the receivables. Quiet leverage had turned into the steering wheel. At 2 p.m., Victor's board met in a closed room, with the rain drumming against the windows. His bosses were gray-faced and blunt. "You pulled a fire alarm," one said. "I was locked out," Victor snapped. "You bribed staff to break access rules. It was a joke. You sent smears to clients. They were warned." "You're removed," the oldest boss said. "Effective now." Victor laughed, the laugh of a man who has only one tool left. "You can't, I'll sue." "Your contracts are clear," the boss replied. "Your own actions did this. There's severance for quiet departure. There's nothing for loud." Silence settled. It was heavy and fair. Victor looked at the table. and saw his face in the glossed wood, small, distorted, alone. He signed because there was nowhere else to go. They did not march him out. There were no cheers. Samuel would not allow it. At 4:10 p.m., Victor walked to the elevator with an empty box and no crowd. Marcus stood by the doors, not gloating. The elevator chimed. The lobby was quiet. Rain dusted the glass. Samuel was waiting near the desk. He did not step toward Victor. He did not reach out. He only spoke one sentence into the calm. "Leave with dignity." Victor half turned, as if to spit some final line. Then he saw the cleaners at the edges of the lobby, the guards by the doors, the receptionist with her careful hands, the young assistant who had once shaken in a stuck elevator and who now stood steady. He swallowed hard. He said nothing. He left. The doors closed. The building, which had listened to his voice for too long, did not have to hear it again. When the elevator emptied, the air itself seemed lighter. People at the desks didn't cheer, but they smiled. Someone brought a tray of tea to the guards. Lupa wiped a smudge from the brass and laughed softly. Maya stood near the window and pressed her palm to the glass, the way Samuel sometimes did. Her eyes were bright. Rhea met Samuel at the service hall. "It's done," she said. Samuel nodded once. "Now we build." Keller arrived with a thin folder. "All signatures in place," he said. "Credit line is ours.
Morning came clear and bright, as if the storm had polished the sky. The tower stood steady, glass winking in the sun. Inside, people moved with a new kind of quiet, not fear, readiness. At 9 o'clock, a small red light blinked above a set of double doors on level 31. The boardroom beyond was all wood and glass, the far wall a sheet of city. At the long table sat the company's directors, 2 outside investors, the interim leader, and counsel. An empty chair at the end said what needed saying. Victor wasn't here. Rhea stood near the screen. Keller set a stack of folders at each seat. The air hummed with printers and old nerves. The doors opened. Samuel walked in wearing a simple dark suit. No tie, no show. He took the seat at the head of the table not because he pushed for it, but because everyone had left it for him. Keller began. Horizon Tower Holdings now controls your senior credit line and receivables facility. We didn't take this to break you. We took it to steady you. Today, we present 2 paths. He clicked the remote. 2 clean slides, restructure and sale. On restructure, Keller said, we convert part of the debt to equity. You keep your name. Leadership changes remain. Covenant compliance becomes a board duty, not a suggestion. There will be a staff equity pool, shares set aside for cleaners, guards, assistants, and line staff, people who built the floor. A director cleared his throat. And the sale? Keller nodded. Horizon buys a controlling interest. We keep your teams and clients. We install a lean leadership slate with a mandate for dignity and delivery. You exit with clean books and a non-disparagement clause that protects your people from old noise. Silence stretched. The interim leader, calm, careful, asked the question others were afraid to form. Why us? Samuel answered, because your work matters. Because it lost its way under a voice that mistook volume for vision. Because the tower is better when you're better. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't rehearse hero lines. He just set a small card on the table. On it, printed in simple type, hands that hold the tower.
The oldest director stared at the card for a long breath. Then he leaned back. Terms? Keller summarized payments, caps, vesting schedules. The deal wasn't a trap. It wasn't a trick. It was a bridge built stone by stone. The vote wasn't quick. It was careful. They took a break. They called lawyers. They looked out the window at a city that was tired of men who loved the sound of themselves. When they returned, the oldest director spoke for them. "We choose Sale," he said. "We want this company to be clean." Keller slid the signature pages across the table. Pens scratched. Witnesses signed. The interim leader exhaled like a man stepping onto firm ground. A final folder lay in front of Samuel. He didn't touch it yet. He looked around the table. "Thank you," he said. "We'll be good owners." No one clapped. It wasn't that kind of room. By noon, the lobby screens announced only the facts. Ownership change internal. Operations uninterrupted. The front desk kept a bowl of mints and a new stack of remote work badges for the week's safety refresher. People read, nodded, and went back to their work. At 2, the company held an all-hands in the auditorium. Not a pep rally, a meeting. The new leadership stood on stage, the interim leader at center, Maya at one side with her small team, Rhea and Keller in the back rows, Samuel off to the wing, half in shadow. The room hushed without being told. The interim leader went first. "We're going to be better," he said, simple and true. "Better at delivery, better at how we treat one another. Our clients will feel it, you will feel it." He gestured to Maya. "You know Maya Chen. You saw her at the summit. Effective today, she is Director of Product Experience. She will run the innovation lab across tenants and lead our client-facing design efforts." A burst of applause. Surprised, real. Maya blinked fast, took the mic, and laughed once under her breath. "I don't have a speech," she said. "I have a promise. We'll build things that make work lighter. That starts with how we treat each other while we build." It wasn't clever, it was clear. People clapped because they recognized a true note when they heard one. Then the interim leader stepped aside. The room turned toward the wing. Samuel walked out, slow and steady, and stood at the podium. The light found the lines at the corners of his eyes. He looked like the man who had mopped these halls for years, because he was that man. And he looked like the owner of the building, because he was that too. He placed a folder on the podium and slid it open. "Horizon now holds a controlling stake in your company," he said. "We didn't buy it to boast. We bought it to keep work honest. From today, respect isn't a memo, it's a measure. There is a staff equity pool. You'll get details this week. Cleaners and guards and assistants are in it, because they held this place when others only held meetings." He paused. You could hear the HVAC breathe. "And to end any rumor left in the air," he added, looking straight at the people who had wondered out loud, "yes, I was your janitor. I still am in the ways that matter." He didn't bow. He didn't seek a standing ovation. He stepped back. The applause rose anyway, hands and boots and calluses making sound together. In that sound, nobody missed a loud voice that used to fill rooms and kill ideas. The afternoon passed like a good shift, steady, full, useful. The HR portal lit with training dates. The covenant tracker turned green for the company that had been a holdout. The staff equity pool sign-up didn't ask for a department. It asked for a name. Rhea walked the floors and saw chairs adjusted to proper height, cables tied safely, exit doors clear. She checked a camera view and smiled at a silly thing, a paper crown someone had left on a vacuum canister with a sticky note that read, "King of Clean." No one posted it online. Not everything had to be content. Keller sat with the old directors and the new leaders to plan the quarter. There would be auditors and headaches and slow forms. But the numbers made sense. They always had when people weren't wasting them on ego. Marcus and his team ran a short drill for the night crew and gave out small keychain flashlights that clicked with a pleasing sound. He wrote "Thank you" in block letters on a whiteboard in the guard room and left the marker uncapped so someone else could add a smiley. Someone did. Lupe taped a simple printout in a new break room. Next week's potluck list. Tamales, lumpia, a neighbor's cookies that could build a small religion. On the bottom she wrote, "Bring what you can, or bring yourself." Maya walked the Innovation Lab's tables, touching each laptop and sketchpad like she was greeting old friends. She set a sticky note on the wall, "Make it lighter." It wasn't a slogan, it was a job. The tower calmed down. Late in the day, Samuel returned to the boardroom. The city beyond the glass had shifted from noon to afternoon, that slow slide that made the buildings look painted. The double doors swung again. Executives lined the table. The new leader stood near the glass. Rhea and Keller flanked the far end. Phones were face down. Pens were ready. Samuel sat at the head and placed a single folder before him. He didn't need the paper inside to say what the room already knew. He looked at them with those steady gray eyes, the same eyes that had watched their feet cross a wet floor. "I own this building," he said, "and starting today, I own this company too." The line did not boom. It landed. People didn't whisper afterward. They breathed. Then they worked. Evening thinned the light. The tower changed to its night tone, softer, warmer. The lobby felt like a heart at rest. Samuel found Marcus at the desk. "How's your team?" he asked. "Good," Marcus said. "They keep asking if this part," he gestured at the calm, "is real." "It is," Samuel said. Marcus nodded, then grinned. "You gonna do it?" Samuel tilted his head. "Do what?"
The week after the takeover felt like the first clear breath after a long run. People moved with a light step. The lobby had a small bowl of oranges by the front desk, a silly thing that made everyone smile. The plaque near the break room caught fingers all day long. Some people touched it like a ritual. Some read it twice and nodded to themselves. Maya sat at her new desk. It was not much bigger than the old one, but the view was better. She could see the roof of the building across the street and the thin stripe of river beyond it. She set a neat row of pens at the top of her pad and wrote the words she had taped on the Innovation Lab wall. "Make it lighter." Her first meeting as Director of Product Experience started at 9. She spoke slowly, not to fill time, but to keep it easy. Her team answered with ideas and questions. No one tried to win by talking the longest. They left the room with a plan that felt like a clean hallway, nothing in the way. Downstairs, Marcus trained 2 new guards. He showed them the camera wall like a doctor teaching new hands how to read an EKG. "This is not a spy room," he said. "It's a memory. We use it to keep people safe. You'll learn the rhythm. A good building has a heartbeat." Lupe taught a new crew member how to wrap cords so no one would trip. "It's like braiding hair," she said with a grin. "Neat, not tight." Rhea walked the stairs with a safety inspector and smiled at the cleared landings. She had a folder of before and after photos and a small, secret pride. Samuel split his day between quiet meetings and quieter walks. He carried no laptop, he used a small notebook.
He wrote short lines in neat hand, checked corners, touched cold metal once to feel if a door closer was set right. He still knew where air moved wrong and where light had a bad hum. He noticed when the room felt off by 1 degree. Around noon, the first staff equity pool letters went out. Each one had the same shape, the same line. You are included, because you held this place when others only held meetings. Some people cried at their desks. Some laughed, shy and loud. A guard in the corner room touched the envelope to her chest before opening it. She had never owned a share in anything but hope. Now she owned a piece of what she protected. She sat very still and let that settle inside her. Maya walked to the break room with a small box of cookies she had baked the night before. She put them on the table with a note, "For the hands that hold the tower." Lupe hugged her so hard the box slipped. They both laughed and caught it together. By afternoon, the first outside call came the way good calls do, simple and direct. A COO from another building asked to tour the tower. "We heard about your summit," she said. "We want to see how you did it without breaking the work." Rhea set a time. Keller prepared a one-page brief. Samuel said only, "We'll show, not sell." The day was smooth. Then the test came. It was not a person, it was the grid. At 4:17 p.m., the lights in the city flickered. The tower paused, like a breath held. Then the main power cut with a soft click that sounded loud only because the building was usually so calm. Emergency power kicked in. Hallway lights glowed low. Exit signs burned steady. The elevator cars slid to the nearest floors and opened. The building did what the manuals said it should. But on level 22, a transfer switch stuttered. A small panel, old, tired, not yet replaced, decided to remember its age at the worst time. Half of the floor went dark. Someone gasped. Someone dropped a cup. A new hire said, "Is this bad?" in a voice too loud and too scared. Maya was in a conference room with her team. The screen cut out. The room went dim. She stood at once. Phones out, flashlights on, save your work, move slow to the door. Her voice didn't shake. It set the tone. People breathed. Marcus spoke on the radio. "Floor 22 has a partial, rolling to manual assist, keep stairwells clear." Rhea was already on the service stairs with 2 maintenance techs and a toolkit. "Old panel," she said into her headset. "We flagged it last week, we didn't get to it yet." Samuel was in the elevator lobby on 17. He took the stairs 2 at a time, not fast but steady, as if speed could be calm. He reached 22 and found a small knot of people near the window, unsure. "Lights will come," he said. "Walk to the stair, hand on the rail. We'll guide." A junior manager asked, "Should we wait for the elevator?" Samuel shook his head. "Elevators are home already. You go with your feet." He placed a hand on the wall and felt the faint vibration he had learned to read like a pulse. The panel buzzed wrong. It was not dead, it was stubborn. He looked at Rhea. She looked back and nodded like soldiers do when they know the next move. "Kill the feed to the stutter," she told the techs. "Shunt to the clean side, 2 minutes." 2 minutes, a man said, as if the words were a dare. 2, Rhea repeated. She didn't look at him. She looked at the screws and wires and the little meter's steady needle. Samuel moved down the hall, knocking lightly on a door here, a door there. "You good?" he asked. "You need a hand?" He guided one older man by the elbow. He handed a small keychain light to a woman who was laughing because fear comes out that way sometimes. "It's okay," he said. "We've got you." On the stair landing, Marcus's team spaced themselves like buoys. "Handrail," one said. "You're fine." The building breathed with them. Down in the lobby, the front desk screens read, "Grid outage, building stable," in simple font. No drama, facts. People filed in and out with a strange mix of patience and speed. Someone started a small song under their breath, the kind you hum when you want your feet to match your heart. 2 minutes stretched to 3, then to 4, because old metal likes to teach humility. The tech's hand slipped on a stubborn screw. Rhea took the driver, set it, and broke the freeze with a neat turn. "Hot," she warned, "clear." The panel clicked. The corridor lights came back in a soft wave. Someone cheered, someone cried. It sounded like a room that had remembered itself. Maya stood in the doorway of the stairwell with her phone light high. She had walked her team down 2 flights and back to the lobby because the room on 22 had no window, and fear grows in boxes. She saw the lights return and laughed once, clean and relieved. She met Samuel's eyes across the hall. She lifted a thumb. He tipped his chin. The power grid stayed out. The tower ran on its own bones. The generator hummed like a low, old song. The building did not break. It remembered. At 5:09 p.m., the city power returned. The tower handed the load back to the grid with a soft shift. Rhea signed a line in her logbook. "Replace 22 panel," she wrote. "Priority." The day crew clapped the night crewmen. People told the story of the outage as if they had all passed a test together. They had. In a townhouse 3 neighborhoods away, Victor watched the news ticker scroll. He saw a line about a grid glitch and another about Horizon Tower, no incident during city outage. He turned the TV off and sat in the quiet. His phone buzzed with 2 messages he didn't open. He held the device like it was a glass he might drop. Then he set it down and stared at the wall. He did not plan a new strike. He did not write a rant. He sat with the sound of nothing and felt what it was like to have no one listening. He did not like it. He also did not move. Back at the tower, the cleaners reset their carts and laughed about the small things that had fallen from desks. A paper clip, a plastic plant, a snack bar that had rolled under a chair. Lupe said, "The building shook out the crumbs. Good for it." Marcus walked the perimeter and checked the doors with a gentle push. "Still friends," he said to each one. He liked to think doors liked being checked. It made them feel seen. Maya went back to the innovation lab and wrote a note on the whiteboard. "We stayed calm." She added a small drawn heart in the corner and laughed at herself, then left it there anyway. Samuel returned to the small office on 27. Rhea came in with her logbook. Keller stopped by with 2 sets of papers and a tired smile. "We passed," Rhea said. "We did," Samuel said. Keller set the papers down. "2 more tenants asking about the covenant template," he said. "They want to copy it for their other offices." Samuel nodded. "Share it." "And a reporter," Keller added, "wants a quote. How did you build resilience so fast?" Samuel smiled. "Tell her we read the manual." Keller laughed. "She won't like that." "Then tell her the truth," Samuel said. "We practiced. We respected the quiet." 6 months changed the tower's rhythm. Not into something louder, just steadier. The plaque by the break room had a soft shine from hundreds of fingertips. The bowl of oranges was now a daily habit. Someone always made sure it was full. New hires learned the 2 rules fast: hold the door and talk to people like they matter. Other buildings noticed. The conduct covenant spread across the city like a careful fire. Some copied it outright. Some edited the words but kept the bones. Clear routes, clear rules, clear respect. A small newspaper ran a Sunday feature with photos of guards and cleaners from 3 towers. The headline was simple: "Hands that hold the city." Inside Horizon Tower, changes settled into place. The staff equity pool paid its first dividend.
It wasn't life-changing money, but it changed small lives. Lupe bought a sturdy bike for her son and a plant that loved morning light. A night guard scheduled a dentist appointment she'd put off for 2 years. Someone started a quiet fund for coworkers in trouble. People added to it without making speeches. Marcus became head of life safety. His training manual was short, honest, useful. Page 1 read, "Calm is a skill. Practice it." He taped small flashlights under 3 desks on every floor. "For when someone forgets theirs," he said. No one called him a hero, they just called him when it mattered. Rhea built a tiny operations team that ran like a clean machine. The old panel on level 22 was replaced the week after the outage and labeled with the date and a smiley face a tech drew by accident and then left there on purpose. Vendors liked working in the building now. "They answer emails," one said, half amazed. Keller looked less like a lawyer and more like a gardener. He pruned contracts, watered the good roots, pulled the weeds. He whispered to Samuel once, "I never thought a clean deal would feel like this." Samuel said, "Clean is a feeling first." And Maya led. Her first major launch, a cross-tenant product called Lighter, went live in a bright room full of sketches and the nervous happiness that follows good work. Lighter did exactly what the name promised. It made ordinary tasks simpler. Small annoyances vanished. Meetings shortened. A client sent a note that read, "We didn't notice your tool. That's how we knew it worked." On the day of the launch, her team brought cupcakes to the break room. The icing smudged on a few napkins. People licked sugar off their fingers and laughed with their mouths full. Maya wrote "Thank you" on the whiteboard and underlined it twice. She didn't cry at work, she cried at home, in the good way. The tower held all of it with a quiet chest. Victor didn't disappear. The city wasn't a storybook. He turned up twice in trade blurbs, consulting gigs, short stints. No quotes, no stage. He was smaller. Some people said they saw him running along the river in the morning, breath clouding the air. He moved like a man who had found the edge of his voice and was learning how to live beneath it. One evening, just after sunset, Samuel was walking the river path for real, the way he kept promising he would. The water carried the orange of the sky like a quiet secret. He wore a jacket and an old pair of shoes with soles that remembered everything they'd walked over. Victor was on a bench, staring at the water. He saw Samuel, looked ready to stand, then didn't. Samuel sat at the far end of the bench with a space between them wide enough for a cooling breeze. They didn't speak for a while. Runners passed, a dog sneezed and shook itself. Somewhere, a train hummed. When Victor did talk, his voice was thin but honest. "I thought power was volume," he said. "I was wrong." Samuel watched a floating leaf turn twice and keep going. "People told you," he said. Victor nodded once. "I didn't listen." He turned the edge of a paper cup in his hands until it tore a little. "I'm working again. Smaller. It's different," he swallowed. "I was cruel." Samuel looked at the river. "Don't be cruel where you are next." Victor nodded again, once more, like a clock that had found a steady tick. He didn't say sorry. He didn't ask for forgiveness. The wind moved. That was enough. Samuel stood. "Take care," he said. "You too," Victor answered. And it didn't sound like a performance. It sounded like a man practicing a new language, respect. Samuel walked on until the path curved and the bench was just another shape the river passed by. Back at the tower, the tenant summit returned, bigger only in the ways that mattered. There were fewer speeches and more demos.
A custodian from another building presented a slip-resistant floor wax he'd tested on his own time. People took notes. A receptionist spoke about micro brakes and RSI. Someone clapped too hard and didn't apologize. In one corner, a junior dev helped a guard set up a phone so the guard's kid could join a remote homework club. None of it would trend. All of it would last. The lobby got a second plaque, small, brushed metal, under the directory. Emergency, find a human, will help. People smiled when they read it because they already knew it was true. Maya started a Tuesday ritual she called Open Table. Anyone could bring a half idea and lay it down. Rules: be kind, be clear, don't sell. A cleaner pitched a cart handle shape that saved wrists. A delivery clerk pitched a better label color for the loading dock. Lighter added both in a week. The release notes were short. Added handles, changed labels. The difference was felt in joints and eyes, not in charts, though the charts got better too. At quarter's end, Keller closed the books. The numbers were good, not wild, real. The kind you can build on, like a beam set plumb. The boardroom meeting lasted 30 minutes. No one raised their voice. Samuel said, "Thank you," and meant it. That night, the tower threw a small party in the lobby. Not champagne, coffee, tea, juice boxes for kids who'd come to see where their parents worked. A band made of 3 tenants played soft songs that knew how to stay in the background. Lupe's tamales disappeared in 10 minutes. Someone's aunt made lumpia that gathered a crowd and an argument over the best sauce that ended in laughter and a recipe exchange. Near the end, Samuel stood by the glass doors with Marcus and Rhea. He wore his old overalls over a dress shirt because it made people laugh and because it felt right. He had a mop nearby, leaning like a walking stick. "You going to draw a line?" Marcus asked, nodding at the marble. "Every so often," Samuel said. He dipped the mop and pressed it down. The water flashed, then settled. People didn't clap. They watched with the kind of attention that makes a small act feel like a cornerstone. Maya took a photo this time, but she didn't post it. She printed it for the break room wall the next day. The caption, in small letters, "Work we're proud of." When the party finned, Samuel signed for a delivery at the desk. A small wood box with no logo. Inside lay a brass key and a card. The card read, "For when you finally take a day off without checking cameras." There was a drawn smiley face he recognized as Rhea's. He laughed, then slipped the key onto his ring anyway. He wasn't ready yet, but someday. Later, he walked a last slow loop. He passed the innovation lab, lights low, sketches taped up straight. He passed the new panel on 22 and touched the cool metal with the back of his fingers. He paused at the stair door and listened to the hum he'd learned to love. He ended, as always, at the glass. Outside, the city blinked like a tired animal with kind eyes. Inside, people stacked chairs, wiped tables, shut down screens. A guard told a joke too long and too funny. A cleaner hummed a tune that made the empty rooms feel like they were waiting for morning. Samuel placed his palm on the glass and said the line he never got tired of, because buildings like to hear it, and so do the people inside them. We'll keep it this way. The building remembered. It remembered the hands that held it, the shoes that scuffed it, the voices that raised, and the ones that lowered. It remembered a man who had been mocked for mopping, and a day when he stood in a suit and didn't shout. It remembered the moment the floor stopped being a place to step on and became a promise to stand on. Lights eased, doors breathed, night took its shift. In the morning, work would start again. Not perfect, better. That was the point. The end.